All right, let's talk about something that has completely changed how we interact with, well, pretty much everything. We are living through the end of ownership as we've always known it, and the beginning of the great subscription economy. So let's dive right in.
Seriously, just take a second and think about it. How many are there? 3, 5, 10? Most of us would probably lowball it. And that little blind spot gets to the absolute heart of what we're talking about today. This world of subscriptions and what feels like the slow death of actually owning things. So here's our game plan. We're going to look at how subscriptions became the go-to model for everything. Then we'll get into the fascinating psychology that keeps us hooked. After that, we'll see how this is creeping into the physical stuff we buy, and importantly, the global movement that's pushing back. And we'll wrap up by asking a really big question. What does it even mean to own something these days?
Okay, so how in the world did we get here? It didn't happen overnight, but it sure feels like it. It all started in the digital world, but now it's just about everywhere.
Remember going to a store and buying a CD or a physical copy of Microsoft Office? You paid for it once and that was it. It was yours forever. Well, those days are pretty much over. Now we're all just tenants. We're renting our music from Spotify, our movies from Netflix, our software from Adobe. We don't actually own any of it. And this isn't just some passing trend. It's a massive fundamental change in how we relate to the things we use every single day.
So why is this subscription model so darn successful? Well, it's not just because it's convenient. Nope. A big part of it is a really deep, almost cunning understanding of our own brains and how our own human nature can be used to keep those payments flowing. Come on, you have. We all have. You see that 30-day free trial and think, sweet, I'll check it out, and if I don't like it, I'll just cancel. And then a month goes by and bam, a surprise charge hits your credit card. Here's the thing, that's not a bug in the system. It is a core feature of the business model.
And this is where it gets really interesting. There's an actual economic theory for this called rational inattention. And it's not saying we're lazy or stupid. It says we're rational people, but our brains have limited bandwidth. Life is busy, and remembering to do some small task weeks from now has a real mental cost. And you better believe companies know this. And they design their entire trial process around this very predictable part of being human. And this breaks down the process perfectly. First, you've got the hook, a nice long free trial. It feels generous, right? But the longer it is, the more time there is for step 2, the fade. That little task, cancel subscription, just slowly drifts to the back of your mind, which leads, of course, to step 3, you completely forget. And when that trial ends, that brings us to the whole point of the exercise for the company, profit. And this is really the kicker. A huge amount of the money these companies make comes from what they actually call inattentive revenue. That's money they get from us simply because we forgot to do something. Think about that. The business model relies on our inertia, not necessarily on how much we value the product.
This quote from an economic paper on the topic is just, wow. It basically says companies are doing the math. They are strategically calculating the perfect trial length and the right price to charge after, all to maximize that inattentive revenue. And the end goal? It's designed so that when you average everything out, the consumer, that's you, gets basically zero net benefit from that free trial they were so excited about.
Now, this idea of selling a service instead of a product isn't just for your Netflix account anymore. Oh, no. It is bleeding into the physical world, and it's twisting the very definition of what it means to actually own something you can hold in your hand. I mean, this slide just lays out the battle perfectly. In the old days, when you bought a car or a phone, you owned it, period. You could fix it, you could tinker with it, you could sell it. But the new way, it treats that physical object like a piece of software. You're just getting a license to use it, and the manufacturer keeps all the control, telling you what you can and can't do with the thing you supposedly bought. So, how do they do it? How do they lock you out of your own stuff? Well, they've got a whole bag of tricks. They use so much glue it's impossible to open anything without breaking it. They invent weird, proprietary screws so your normal tools don't work. But the newest and trickiest weapon in their arsenal is something called parts pairing, and it's all about software control. So what the heck is parts pairing? Okay, imagine you crack your phone's screen. A local repair shop puts in a brand new, perfectly good screen, but the phone rejects it. You get an error message, or maybe your Face ID suddenly stops working. Why? Because that new part doesn't have the secret digital blessing from the manufacturer's software. It's an invisible wall designed to force you back to their expensive, official repair services. But
This slow chipping away at our rights as owners hasn't gone unnoticed. Not by a long shot. There's a huge, growing movement across the globe fighting to take those rights back. Yeah, people are pushing back, and they're pushing back hard. We're talking about everyone from farmers who just want to fix their own multi-million-dollar tractors to everyday people who are just sick and tired of being told they have to pay a fortune for a simple battery swap. This movement is called the right to repair, and it's a fight for the future of ownership itself.
And you know what? They're actually winning. Just look at this timeline. What started with a single law for cars in Massachusetts has absolutely snowballed into this massive international effort. The UK, New York, California, Minnesota, and now the entire European Union are passing laws to dismantle these repair monopolies. The momentum is huge and it's growing.
So what is it they're actually asking for? Well, it boils down to three really simple common sense things. 1, let independent shops buy the same genuine parts the authorized dealers can. 2, give them access to the diagnostic software needed to figure out what's actually wrong. And 3, make the repair manuals and schematics public. It's about leveling the playing field and breaking that manufacturer monopoly on repair. And just like right to repair laws are breaking down walls, other consumer protection laws are taking aim at that subscription trap we talked about. When laws say it has to be just as easy to cancel a subscription as it was to sign up, guess what happens? Companies can't rely on you forgetting anymore. They actually have to compete by, having a good product. What a concept. Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. The subscription traps, the repair monopolies. What's the big picture here?
Well, it turns out it's all part of the exact same story.
Look, this is so much bigger than saving a few bucks on a repair. It's about a fundamental right that is quietly being stripped away from us, one subscription, one software lock at a time. This is the real fight. When you buy something, is it truly yours? Or are you just leasing it for a while, constantly under the thumb of the company that made it? The line between a physical object and a digital service is getting blurrier every day. And in that haze, the very meaning of ownership is being rewritten.
And that's the question I want to leave you with. As we pay more and more for access instead of assets, as the things we do buy come with all these digital strings attached, we have to ask ourselves, what do we really own anymore? Think about your phone, your TV, your car. What part of any of it is truly, unconditionally yours? It's something we all need to think about.